So, is it better to have a female drum instructor or a male drum instructor? This is a very interesting question because both offer certain things. Now, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's an old saying that is very, very true. How does that apply to today's topic? When I was a kid, I took a lot of lessons with different people that I just ran across in music stores, or somebody would recommend, this guy's a good drummer, go over to his house and check it out. And I kind of did that just out of curiosity. I was pretty curious, although somewhat recalcitrant, let's say. But in general, I was very curious. I didn't want to leave any stone unturned. Why do I bring up this topic? Because each person offers a different thing. Now, what is that thing? A female drum instructor was very kind to me. She was very gentle. She was very, let's say, nurturing. She never pushed me. She never pushed my buttons to get me to practice. She just gently showed me, what she knew, and we did it together, and it was quite pleasant. I just met her at a music store that I happened to be buying sticks in one day, and she was working at the store, and we started talking about drums. She was older than me. I remember her very well, the round glasses and long curly hair. And I don't know her name, for God's sake. I wish I did, but this was so many years ago, I'll never remember her name. I don't even know if she's still playing or what. But she was very kind. Now, did I have kind male drum instructors before? Yes, of course. But there was always that side of, not as nurturing as the woman was with me. I just felt like more, let's say, I felt less intimidated for some reason, right? I just felt safe. Now, what does a male drum instructor offer? A male drum instructor might be more challenging, might be more willing to push you to your limits, and might be a little bit more, let's say, might be a little bit more dry with the presentation of it. Now, this is, I'm saying might all the time because every instructor is a little different, but there's something there, right? When I needed a gentle push, I found her at the music store. When I needed a real good push and I needed to know what I really needed to know, then I found other teachers to get me to that level. Okay, so when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It has nothing to do with gender, that particular side of things. But each gender might have something to offer depending on what stage of the game that you are at. Now, when I went to PIT, when I first started going to school, I was auditioning for the school for, so they put you in different levels or categories of classes. And guess who my teacher was who was auditioning me? It was Maria Martinez, one of my favorite female drummers. I hesitate to call her female. It's just drummer. She's a great drummer. She's got a book out about Brazilian music. She's a great Afro-Cuban drummer. She's just great. So I don't know if I can, differentiate man or woman in these cases. But what I learned from Maria was compassion. And that's kind of the same thing I learned from the other lady when I was much younger. I must have been like 14, 13 years old, something like that. I tell you what, I carry those moments in my own teaching now. I went through a phase when I was very militant, let's say, and very hard core. You've got to learn and you've got to do it, man, and I believe in you, and come on and let's do it. But then after a while, I started adapting that more, let's say, nurturing side, and people liked it. And I even liked it because I saw results that I wasn't getting before from students. Now, I'm talking about, 25, 30 years that I made that adaptation. And it's worked very well for me and for the people I'm involved with teaching. Do I think that women play differently than men? Now, that's a whole topic that I don't know where the debate is really, because the women that are drummers that I know are like top quality. I don't know any let's say amateur players like that. I know really good players, female players, that I wouldn't hesitate for a second to call to sub for me or stuff like that. Now, are there sad things about women in drumming? One thing that really irks me is in Asia. In Asia, especially in China, there's a huge trend for women to play drums. It's very trendy to play drums and film yourself and put yourself on Red Note and WeChat, and those are huge apps in China. Like the Facebook of China, the YouTube of China, and it's very, very popular to put yourself on these apps or platforms playing drums, and sometimes, the drumming is really substandard, and other times these people are leaning on their sexuality to get views, playing in a bikini or really provocative outfits and stuff like that. To me, that's nowheresville. Now, do guys do this too? They do it in different ways, but it makes me sad either way. I think it's a circus, for someone like me who takes drumming. Let's say I think drumming is a very spiritual thing. It's something that is the deepest part of humanity and connects you with the universe and everything that is unseen, the things that you cannot touch, the things that you cannot see. It puts you in touch with those elements of life, the most artistic, the most deep part of life. So when I see, people using drumming for self-aggrandizement, that really bums me out, whether it's female or male. But since we're talking about, women in drumming at this particular second, I'll just say that. For companies, this is a blessing. Normally, this has been a very male-dominated field, the drum set, right? But now, it's getting really popular with women. Especially in Asia. I mean, you guys don't know how popular it is because you don't go on WeChat, you don't go on Red Note or Bilibili, all these platforms that I use to promote my material in China. I have a lot of connections in China to the educational market and stuff like that. So that's why I use those apps. But it's a huge bonanza of cash for drum companies because they've been eyeing the women's market for drumming for a very long time. They didn't know how to get women to play drums, right? That was like half the population of the earth that they weren't selling instruments to. So now that it's become popular, the drum companies are like, yay! And if you see women being pushed at this moment in advertisements for whatever, cymbals or drums, that is the reason, okay? They want to create more female drummers, which is fine. Does that mean they're going to have a great career in drumming? Absolutely not. The drums they're not forgiving. There's an old saying, take care of drumming, drumming will take care of you. You only get from drums what you put into it. So if you don't put everything you've got, every ounce of soul and power into them, you're not going to get, you know, the most beautiful things that drumming can offer, no matter who you are. Okay? So, that said, I have had many female students, obviously, and I have female students now all over the world on my lesson site, and I've never had any kind of issue with laziness or not being inspired or not being able to handle the material. Are they at different levels? Some are good, some are just starting, and some, you know, have a lot of problems which I have to handle a lot online, and we work a lot together. But they're just starting out, you know, they're very young. It's a normal thing. Like anybody at a young age would need more attention, and you have to give it to them. So I don't think it's a question of, are you a better drummer if you're a guy? I think it's what you put into it and the culture that you're around. In the percussion world, in Africa and many countries that drumming is a very powerful force, like in Brazil, man, there's some amazing women who play drums that you've never heard of, okay? I mean, they're smoking, especially in the percussion world. It's a whole other story. Women in percussion have taken a very important role historically in communities, in ceremonies, and all kinds of ways that usually are assigned to men now, but before it used to be women who worked the drums and the ceremonies, for example. And somehow, apparently, that all went away. Apparently, I've talked to some ethnomusicologists about this, and when the colonization period came in and religion, different religions started to penetrate, you know, the cultures that were deeply drumistic, let's say, those roles got reassigned, and, you know, gender roles became a little bit more pronounced, let's say. So the drumming started being more dominated by men. Now, of course, you know how men use drumming for war historically, you know, banging on the huge drums in Asia. You know, have these gigantic drums they used for war, and it was mostly men who were playing those things. And of course, we all know the Civil War and the snare drum guys were all men doing that kind of stuff. And now we've come to a point where there's women again in drumming. So, should you, as a drummer, take lessons from a woman or from a man? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You can get certain things from every kind of instructor, no matter what gender. Maybe you feel more safe with a male instructor, maybe you feel more safe with a female instructor. It doesn't matter if you're a girl, woman, grown woman, mature woman, or a young man, mature man, old man, whatever. It's all kind of the same. You have to seek out the person who is appropriate for you at the moment. Like I said before, that girl, she was a girl, probably 25 when I met her. I was 14 or 13. At that moment, I was a very, let's say, introverted kid. You know, I was a super nerd, you know, total nerd. And maybe she saw that and latched onto that and gave me what I needed at the moment, which is the gentle push into things I needed to learn, you know. And that's just how it happened. I don't think there's any advantage of having a female drum instructor or a male drum instructor, but it could be the situation that each offers something at different points in your life. Maria Martinez, now, you know, we became great friends. There was another girl in our class at PIT. Her name was Lisa. She was such a great player, and she played mallets, and she was like, wow, she was really great. And we never thought about her in a way of being a woman or she can't play because she's a woman. No, man, it was never even an issue. So, my friends, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you on the next one. Remember, the lesson site is waiting for you. Only $250 gets you into the full year program. The elite courses cranking. There's guys coming from different countries to Vietnam here to do the elite program with me. And the lifetime membership is cranking as well. We have hand consultations, online evaluations, and a lot of stuff going on with the lesson site. Welcome to all new members, by the way. Here we are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, see you on the next video. Peace. Hi friends, I'm here to tell you about an exciting new program I have on my lesson site. It's called the Elite Program. In this program, you're going to be working with me very, very closely while I guide you through the entire site. The Elite Program, why do I call it that? Because I'm searching for the most dedicated people to study this material. If you want to be a professional drummer, you're going to have to change your life. You're going to have to put drums ahead of everything. And I'm here to make sure that that decision is something that's going to benefit your life in the most positive way it can. Some websites have guest artists that come in and show you some stuff for about an hour and then they leave and you never hear from them again. You're stuck with the guys on the site that may or may not have much experience at all. In this program, you're going to be working with me directly. 3 hours a day for an entire week online, okay? We're going to be having conference online, video conference, 3 hours a day for a week. In this week, I'm going to guide you through everything, prepare you. I'm going to watch you play. I'm going to watch you practice. We're going to work together on things in the moment, okay, which is very important. Now, why the price, you may ask? Well, an online video session with me usually costs $270 for 2 hours. A private lesson with me in New York costs $100 an hour. A lot of guys charge a lot more than $100, maybe $200, $300 an hour. My price is $100 an hour. I think that's fair. So if you take that many hours with me, okay, 7 times 3, that's 21, that's $2,100. The price of the course is $1,900. So you're already saving $400 by doing it this way. $400 savings. Plus, you have the full year membership to the site with email support, Skype support, and everything else. This unique study situation has been brought about by the technology we enjoy today. Before, you would have had to travel to New York, hang out with me, come to my house, you know, have all those expenses of going to New York, which many guys have done. But now we can do things in a much more, let's say, efficient basis, more economical, and a way that you can be constantly in touch, not only having me in New York there while you're there. Okay, so this is, I think, an amazing opportunity to study. I've taught at some of the best drumming institutions in the world. That's not something that everybody can say. And I have all that knowledge right here waiting for you. If you're serious about your drumming, the lesson site is there. And I'm there as well, ready to make sure you get the most out of the drumming experience and having drums in your life. Okay? I hope you will check out the Elite program. The most innovative curriculum there is comes from having the experience from teaching all over the world, drummers at every level from the highest drumming cultures on the planet. What you're going to need to participate is a way to interact with me online. You need to have a drum set up with your camera, your phone, or whatever. It has to sound halfway decent, and a good Wi-Fi connection so we have uninterrupted streaming. Now, as far as the price goes, if you use PayPal, you can break up the payments. PayPal offers you a variety of ways you can pay. You can use your credit card, and if you don't have access to those things, just write me and we'll figure out a way. But this is a very important program and I think you're gonna love it. It's not a common opportunity to study drums, so I hope you'll take it and make the best of it. All right, folks, see you on the Elite program. Peace.